One time my ex told our daughter Annika that he was getting tickets to this big concert in Seattle that happened to be taking place during my visitation time before he even mentioned the concert to me or requested any kind of change. And I think he assumed that by telling her first and getting her all excited about this concert, that I'd have no choice but to agree to the schedule change.
Welcome to the Blended Family Breakthrough Podcast. We're your hosts, Mike and Kim.
We believe in a world where blended families can experience a future full of hope, connection, and peace.
That's why we offer tools, strategies, and guidance that move you from a place of confusion and conflict to experiencing a life of confidence and connection.
We're so glad you're joining us for authentic and sometimes comical conversations as we cover everything from romance to parenting, and yes, even dealing with that difficult ex.
So if you're ready to experience breakthrough in your blended family, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Well, hey there, welcome, and thank you for joining us on Blended Family Breakthrough. We are so grateful that you spend time week after week with us here on the show. And hey, if you haven't already, go ahead and follow us over on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And if you have a chance, leave a star rating. We would love to know how this show is bringing you value. And if you happen to be on Apple Podcasts, take a moment to leave a review. Or if you happen to be on Spotify, if you haven't discovered this yet, you can actually leave comments on individual episodes. So if you have questions or thoughts, feel free to go ahead and leave us a comment on Spotify. We read all of them and we'll get back to you on it as well. Yeah. So with that, what do you say we hop into today's episode?
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. You know what? We love the holidays.
We do.
I especially love the holidays, right? I get all amped up and excited. And even here in the Pacific Northwest, where the days get short and a little bit soggy, I kind of enjoy it when the twinkle lights start showing up and the holiday music starts to stream for hours.
I don't know about that.
And you know what? Over the years, our family has created a lot of meaningful memories. We baked a lot of Christmas cookies. We've had holiday movie nights, done a lot of gift shopping. And one of our favorites, of course, is always serving in our local community and supporting those that are less fortunate than we are.
And while all of that is great, for those of us in blended families, there's also another reality that can hijack all that cozy cheer. Negotiating holiday schedules with your former spouse.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yes. Yep. All it takes is one email or phone call and boom, your energy is drained. Coordinating visitation, family gatherings, and special activities. And of course, we all want the kids to experience meaningful memories, and sometimes making that happen comes with some challenges.
That's right. And so if you've just muttered something to yourself like, geez, isn't that the truth? Then we're glad you've joined us today because we're going to share 5 practical tips for negotiating holiday schedules with an ex. Plus, how do you care for your kids and yourself when plans don't work out and someone has to miss out on something fun?
Yeah, and we've been there many times over the years. I remember specifically when my parents planned a visit that happened to overlap Annika's time with her dad. And this was during a season of high tension between the homes. What felt like a simple request for Annika to spend a little more time with her grandparents, well, that turned into a lot of stress and disappointment. Not only was Annika disappointed that time with her grandparents got cut short, and she rarely sees them, but of course, my parents were frustrated and confused and disappointed as well.
Yeah, it impacts the extended family as well, right? And in that season, you and your ex were functioning a lot more like fiery foes than cooperative colleagues.
Yes.
Right? So if you're listening right now and you realize, well, gosh, that fiery foes things is kind of what our current co-parenting relationship is like in this season, well, that's okay. Today's tips still apply to you. But you might also benefit from some deeper strategies. And so we'll link to a few past episodes in the show notes that can help you build some skills for more high conflict dynamics with the other home.
Absolutely. But even when your co-parenting relationship is generally low conflict, small schedule shifts can sometimes turn into big disagreements and stress.
That's right.
And when we assume the other home should just be flexible, we might end up responding poorly, especially when emotions run hot.
Yeah. I love how a whole bunch of different communication experts say, why do we do our worst when it matters most?
Yeah.
Right? It's because those emotions are running high. Yeah. Holiday negotiations are just emotionally charged. And we can lock onto what we want and try to push our own agenda without considering how our requests might be landing. With kids moving between two homes, we need a mindset that values predictability, respect, and partnership.
Absolutely. And, even when we do make the effort to negotiate well, kids may still miss out on something special, which can stir up guilt for us and disappointment for them.
For sure.
And we'll address ways to manage that a little later because even the best laid plans can sometimes fall short.
Right. But before we jump into that, let's take a look at 5 tips for holiday negotiations with the other parent or with the ex.
Right.
All right. You ready to hop into that, honey?
I am.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Tip number 1, protect predictability whenever possible. Here's the thing. Kids feel secure with stable routines. That's actually a reality for kids. And whenever possible, we encourage you to plan your festivities inside your regular parenting time rather than trying to reshuffle the whole schedule. Now, this isn't about appeasing an ex or avoiding, negotiations. It's just about creating predictability and stability for your kids, right? So we just need to understand that those are actually important features of moving back and forth between two homes. And you know what? It's also important to honor the other parent's time and support their relationship with your kids. The kids need time to enjoy everybody that they love around the holiday season. So
Absolutely.
we want to protect that predictability if at all possible.
Right. So tip number 2, if you do need to make a scheduling change, don't procrastinate.
I can't believe you just said that.
I know. The key is to get negotiations started early.
Yep.
Now, if you faced hostility before, like I have, it's tempting to delay the conversation. But last-minute asks can feel disrespectful and create unwanted pressure.
That's right.
I used to avoid reaching out to my ex because I didn't want to deal with conflict. Then I realized when I put off asking, I was actually doing to my ex what I hated when it happened to me, adding pressure and obligation to agree without time to consider what this change means. As soon as you realize a change might be needed, we encourage you to kindly initiate a conversation about it. Early notice communicates respect, and it increases the chance of cooperation. And giving your ex ample time to respond is really helpful. They might need time to consider the logistics on their end before they can give you an answer to whatever it is you might be requesting.
That's
so be
right.
patient.
Yeah. Don't procrastinate.
Yeah.
Exactly. And everything you just said kind of leads to tip number 3, which is living the golden rule.
Oh, yes.
We've got to remember to approach our former spouses in the same way that we want to be approached. Not with entitlement, not with demands, and not with last-minute pressure like you were just talking about, honey. We want to offer a clear request in a way that builds cooperation and trust. So skip the tit-for-tat scorekeeping or the you owe me, and instead try to keep your focus on simply what's best for the kids. You want to make it your goal to model peace in your communication. And remember, after all, your kids are watching how you handle yourself with their other parent.
That's right.
Yeah. We talk a lot about calm communication across our podcast, but you might want to think about checking out episode 67, where we share our 3 C's framework for living out the golden rule of co-parenting. And that can really help you on this whole idea of calmer communication when it comes to these holiday negotiations. Yeah. So just click the link in the show notes and go check out episode 67.
Yeah, often when you show up differently, your ex will start showing up differently. It's amazing how the golden rule can actually influence behaviors.
That's right. That's right. So we want to protect predictability. We want to avoid procrastination. We want to live out the golden rule. Honey, what's tip number 4?
Tip number 4 is confirm schedule changes with your ex before sharing plans with the kids.
Yes.
Sharing big plans with kids before you have agreement with your ex, that can really backfire. First, negotiate with the other home, then share the final plan with the kids. This prevents heartbreak and it reduces co-parenting conflict. And again, practice the golden rule. Think about how you would feel if your ex told the kids about some big, fun, exciting plans they were making before clearing the schedule change with you. You might have some legitimate reasons to have to decline the change, which then leads to disappointment and makes you the bad guy with the kids.
Yep.
Or you might feel obligated to change your own plans to accommodate, which can lead to resentment and distrust. Either way, talking to the kids before finalizing any negotiations is asking for trouble. Don't go there. You know, one time my ex told our daughter Annika that he was getting tickets to this big concert in Seattle that happened to be taking place during my visitation time before he even mentioned the concert to me or requested any kind of change. Now, I interpreted that as manipulation. And I think he assumed that by telling her first and getting her all excited about this concert, that I'd have no choice but to agree to the schedule change. And this, of course, made me suspicious and it increased mistrust in our relationship.
Yeah, which was already contentious.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising that you would build that story about him. And at the same time, it's a story. You didn't actually know that.
I didn't, but that's what made sense to me at the time.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you tell her about this when you don't even know if you can take her?
Exactly.
And, you know, this the suspicion and this mistrust, that's actually the opposite of what you want to build with your co-parent. Even if your ex attempts to manipulate things, you can choose to take the high road and confirm schedule changes with them before you tell your kids about anything that you're planning.
Yeah.
That's the right thing to do, and it protects the kids from disappointment.
That's right. Please don't fight fire with fire on that one, because the kids are going to be the ones who end up getting burned up.
Yeah, it doesn't pay off.
Yeah. And you know what? Finally, number 5, we need to learn to accept a no with some grace. Sometimes you won't get what you hoped for, and you have to choose to accept that no without escalation, without bad mouthing and those kinds of negative interactions. You know what? You're also free to say no to changes when you need to. But remember, flexibility, it tends to be reciprocal.
Yeah, most of the time.
Yeah.
On that visit, when my parents came, Annika did get to spend one full night and one full day of fun and adventure with them. And honestly, I did not follow these tips back then. So I could have set that up much better. And even though the visit got cut short, we chose to be grateful for the time that they did get to spend together instead of harboring bitterness over her dad's unwillingness to be flexible at the time. And you know what? We actually learned from that experience. For future visits, my parents made travel arrangements to come during my scheduled visitation time so that they wouldn't have to miss out on time with Annika. We just got smart about it.
Exactly. So those are 5 really simple tips for holiday negotiations with an ex. First, do your best to protect predictability as much as possible.
Then avoid procrastination and start negotiations early on.
Yep. Remember to live out the golden rule by treating your former spouse the way you want to be treated.
And be careful that you confirm schedule changes before sharing possible plans with your kids.
And finally, do your best to gracefully accept a no and move on.
Right.
You don't have to let disappointment hijack your holiday. But let's be honest, disappointment, it's going to show up sometimes. When you can't line up schedules, somebody is going to miss out. And that's not bad parenting. It's just the reality of separate households trying to share children.
Right. This is especially true in complex step families where both spouses have kids on different visitation schedules.
Yeah.
Or maybe one ex is really flexible and great to work with, but the other ex, not so much,
Yeah.
which makes planning holiday activities and fun outings or even trips really hard. You can have the best intentions and still end up with one set of kids missing out on something fun.
Yep.
That's frustrating for parents and disappointing for kids.
Yeah. And we had to deal with that at times as well. In our
Absolutely.
situation, we had 2 hours babies, right?
Right.
So naturally, of course, they were with us all the time, but we only had Annika 50% of the time. So when she was at her dad's, we still wanted to do things with the younger kids, with Phoebe and Jacob. We would go look at Christmas lights. We would attend holiday events. We'd do, all that Christmassy stuff. And we did our best to schedule things so that Annika could join in the fun. But the reality was she ended up missing out at times.
I would actually feel guilty for doing fun things without her. And when we did go do fun things without her, I missed her.
Of course you did.
And then I would worry that when she found out what we did while she was gone, she'd feel left out and she'd be sad about that.
Which she really was sometimes, actually.
Yeah, but these are the kind of challenging circumstances many of us face during the holidays. It's reality. So instead of pretending we can make everyone happy all the time, which is unrealistic, let's talk about how to walk your kids through disappointment when they miss out on some fun plans.
That's right. It hurts when you've tried everything and a child still can't join an event or an activity. And when disappointment hits, you can use what we call the 5 A's to kind of guide you through those painful moments with a child. And by the way, it's not just with the kids, it's with us too. We have some challenges too.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so let's talk about the 5 A's for navigating disappointment with our kids.
Okay.
The first A is acknowledge. Validate your child's feelings and listen with empathy. This means that you want to avoid going into fix-it mode or at least statements. Well, at least you're here now, or at least we're going to do this fun thing. That just kind of dismisses their pain, right? At least you get to have 2 Christmases, or at least you get to go play with your gifts for a little while. Those kind of statements typically leave kids feeling unheard and alone. Now, you might want to review our last 2 episodes, 222 and 223, which focuses on being an emotion coaching parent. This is a great approach to helping kids work through things like disappointment, envy, resentment, and fear of missing out. Those are all real things for kids.
Definitely. Okay. The second A is to assure. This is really simple. Just let your kids know that you've done your best to include them, but sometimes it just isn't possible. So be sure to do this by staying focused on your home and not blaming the ex. Assuring a child in this way could sound as simple as, honey, really, I am sorry. I did everything I could to try and make all these little pieces work out for us this year, but there's just a couple things you're going to miss. Right?
Yeah.
Might be as simple as that.
Yeah. And then validate their feelings and listen.
Exactly.
Both are your emotion coaching steps. Yeah.
Exactly. So acknowledge and assure, then what?
Then we're going to abstain.
Ooh.
Abstain from bad-mouthing the parent or the step-parent in the other home.
That's right.
You want to keep this simple. We couldn't make it work this time. I can see you're disappointed, and I can understand why you're feeling that way. Again, we're just going to focus on the child's feelings, not place blame. Be
So
very
you wouldn't
careful.
say, well, if your dad would have just...
No.
Okay, got it.
No,
Yeah.
that's going to just increase the loyalty bind.
Exactly.
And kids don't need that.
That's right. And kind of closely related to that, we're also going to avoid spiraling into negativity or oversharing, right? You want to help the child process through their emotions. You can process your own emotions later with a safe, trusted adult out of the earshot of kids. But you know what? Kids tend to mirror our emotions as adults. So you want to do your best to manage your own emotions in a healthy way in the moment so that your kids don't have to carry that burden or spiral into negativity with you.
Yeah.
So avoid the spiral, right?
Absolutely.
So be sure to acknowledge, assure, abstain, and avoid. And then finally,
Accept.
yes.
Just name that it's hard and ask if there's anything that might make things easier for your child. Help them accept the reality that life doesn't always work out the way that we would like, and that everyone experiences disappointment sometimes. It's a normal part of life. Then encourage realistic problem solving and help them to move beyond their disappointment.
That's right. I love the way you talk about that. This is actually a life lesson that we all need to be reminded of.
That's right.
Because, like you just said, everyone is going to experience disappointment. And I think sometimes as parents, we struggle with that because we try to fix the disappointment or make everybody feel better in the moment rather than thinking about, hey, maybe this is actually a character building opportunity.
Exactly.
It's not that we're going to create crisis over the holidays so that we can build character,
No.
but we can look at those as opportunities of, wow, this is an opportunity for this child to learn the skills, to learn the emotional resilience that they're going to need when they head into adulthood.
Yeah. If you've been on this planet any length of time, you know that disappointment is part of life, and you cannot protect your children from that, but you can help them process through it and get to the other side.
Yeah, that simple little mindset has helped me a lot as a parent over the years.
Yeah.
So we've got to learn acceptance. Yeah. Managing schedules across households is just challenging, particularly during the holiday season. But when you negotiate wisely and respectfully, guess what? You're modeling peace and you're giving the kids a sense of security and stability.
Yeah.
Just like that mindset we were talking about. This is about building character over the long haul.
Yes.
Now, as we mentioned earlier, if your co-parenting relationship is high conflict, we encourage you to check the show notes for some episodes that are going to help you with that. And if today's episode was helpful, hey, we want to encourage you to share it with a friend or post it on your social media because you probably have some other step family connections that are having some similar holiday challenges, and they might need some simple tips as well.
Absolutely. And don't miss out on our Simple Step bonus episode next week, where I'll be exploring some realistic holiday expectations and how to move beyond perfectionistic ideals so that you can enjoy the season even when things don't go as planned.
That's right. That's right. So let's make sure that we're going to protect predictability, avoid procrastination, live out the golden rule, confirm changes with the ex before you talk to the kids, and when necessary, accept no with a little bit of grace.
That's right.
All right. We're going to make this episode a wrap.
Until next time.